Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, compromised worst nightmare to greatness. Fun with phone lines. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Compromised worst nightmare to greatness. Some information removed or changed to protect identities, etc. Also, this post discusses in high-level detail an attack on our network. I was not the one to launch the attack, I was one of the defenders. Within the government organization, I led the internal IT security team, spearheading organization-wide changes to our security stance. Aside from the changes I was leading, we also had a contracted MSSP team that monitored the network 24/7. The escalation point for serious or critical incidents was me. Barring me, it fell to the senior sysadmins in order of seniority. For the previous couple weeks, we'd seen a few other city governments be targeted by state-sponsored attackers based out of Russia. We were briefed by higher levels of government. We constantly hammered at users for their training, and we weren't afraid to disable accounts until they completed it. But users will always remain one of the weakest links in security. Internally, we had a sit-down conversation about the what-ifs. What if we are targeted? What if our MSSP catches it late? What if? We had a conversation with our MSSP and re-highlighted escalation procedures. Call me. Failing that, call senior. Sysadmins. Failing that, call management. Failing that, call dispatch. Explain who you are, why you're calling, what you need, and how quickly. Dispatch will handle the rest. All was well and good. We went back to the grind of stripping old hardware, OSes, guest plus hypervisors, software, networking gear. I had a sinking feeling in my stomach though. I knew something was coming, I had a good idea what it was. I didn't know when it would be. Now our network, previously being old and mostly insecure, had come a long way. Most of our servers were on board for long-term monitoring and had a modern EDR solution. More accurately, all of our servers had been replaced by modern systems. Except one. One night, 3 a.m., I get a phone call. It's from our MSSP. $MSSP, good evening, it's $Tier 1 from $MSSP calling. $me, haha, I don't think good evening is a good use of words if you're calling at 3 a.m. I can appreciate the sentiment though. What's happened? $MSSP, there are currently 6 accounts in your network actively attacking hundreds of your servers from. Initial indication is they just gained access about 10 minutes ago. $me, that IP range belongs to our full tunnel SSL VPN, which is geo-restricted to our country. Where are these guys logging in from? Unfortunately at the time, MFA wasn't being enforced at the VPN. Management was looking to spare a buck. Rest assured, multiple senior sysadmins threw books at them later. $MSSP, major city and country. $me, we don't have anyone there right now. Send me an email ASAP with their usernames. I'll disable the AD user objects and kick the VPN sessions. Please run a search of the last 14 days for any VPN session that authenticated regardless of location. Group by the columns of username, source IP, and geographic location. Also, you mentioned exploits. Is this an attacker throwing sh*t at the wall and hoping something sticks? Run a second search please for our firewall. Last 14 days, any UTM event that wasn't dropped/blocked. Export on source IP/port, dest IP/port, username, UTM action, and the UTM event itself. $MSSP, we'll export that information and have it over to you in the next 5 minutes. Anything else? $me, check the AV and EDR logs. There are plenty of shells that would make it through the UTM checks at the firewall that may be caught based on behavior. If they attack FS01, they're going to find something. $MSSP, one just came in interpreter shell on FS012. Caught by non-EDR software. It was the last machine on a legacy AV, FS01 equals file server 01. Not its real name, nor was it exclusively a file server. $me, the one server you cannot touch from your console. Please call $senior sysadmin 1. If you can't get a hold of him, try number 2 and number 3. If you can't get a hold of either, call me. Don't call the listed management, they're out of the country at the moment on vacation. $MSSP, noted. Thanks. So I get logged into AD and kick the 6 users off. Reset their passwords, etc. I also brought down the VPN interface entirely. I set my focus on the server that had a shell, detected/prevented on it. Now, this server was ancient. Ancient actually means ancient. It would be legal age, 18 plus, today if it were still running. If you haven't figured it out yet, a physical box running Windows, storage server, 2003. It was a huge liability, but anytime someone, regardless of seniority, even thought about taking a table saw to it, they'd get told off. Now, being familiar with how penteists work, I knew they'd probably already dumped SAM and rslash, making this a huge problem. Just as I cut the server off, that would have normally gotten someone fired, I get a call back from the MSSP. MSSP, we weren't able to reach any of the senior sysadmin team. $me, forget the admin team, I'll handle it. FS01 is offline. Run a third search, all admin authentication activity from the last 24 hours. If these guys had any brains, they'd dump the SAM database and rslash processes to get credentials. $MSSP, I'll send it over shortly. Just as a heads up, we have a couple senior security analysts online. They're poring over all your logs to find any other movement. They don't appear to have run any AD enumeration tools. $me, awesome. Who are the seniors on your side right now? I'll coordinate how we handle FS01's recovery with them. $MSSP, Senior Analyst 1, 2 and 3. $me, noted. I need to make some phone calls to dispatch, time to get chewed out, and wake the seniors up on our side. So I call dispatch. At dispatch they have special procedures for special requests. Like critical IT staff getting police escorts back to IT HQ. $dispatch, 911, where's your emergency? $me, AV636 calling, priority. I need police dispatched to senior sysadmin 1, 2 and 3's houses immediately. Escort them to IT without delay. Unresponsive to phone calls. 6 user accounts compromised, with 1 critical server offline. Attackers are suspected to be the same group that hit nearby cities. $dispatch, police will be dispatched. Was the critical asset FS01? $me, yes. Trust me when I say the alternative was much worse. $dispatch, we need that server now. Staff are already complaining. $me, I understand what it's used for, but forget it. If I release the server back to its normal operations, I could very possibly cause the release of a threat internally. We will release it if, and only if, we can reasonably claim it's safe. $dispatch, fine. Police will arrive in a minute or 2. You will get a call from IT staff once they're awake and in the patrol vehicles. Rest assured they will not be pleased that FS01 is offline. $me, you're absolutely right, they won't be pleased about it. But they will definitely understand. Thank you for your assistance. $dispatch, keep us informed. A couple minutes later my phone rings, it's Senior Sysadmin 1. $SSA1, hey. What's going on? Me, our Russian friends broke the front door down. 6 accounts compromised through the full tunnel VPN. I took the VPN interface offline on the firewalls. FS01 is offline following the detection of misinterpreter shells. $SSA1, F*CK. Dispatch is going to be pissed. Have they gotten anything yet? $me, no ransomware yet. Knock on wood, but the compromise of FS01 means that they likely dumped Sam and LSAS at the very least. Which means we should be at least resetting all admin passwords, and likely mass resetting all domain passwords in general. FS01 was a file server, jump box, and used by public safety. It'll be a lot of very pissed off users tomorrow, but it's a surefire way of making sure they don't have additional credentials. It's also hard to say how many VPN accounts they have. $SSA1, agreed. What about FS01? Dispatch will want that server online ASAP. $me, they've been told to pound sand. This is the kick in the ass that they in management need. Time for FS01 to go. We got lucky that it was caught early, and someone got to it in time from our side. I'm inclined to say we can never fully trust it in transition to something on newer hardware, OS, software, and protected by the EDR. $SSA1, playing with fire, I like it. Kick sand they will, management is out, and I'm next senior. I'll play dumb and just authorize it in the frenzy. $me, SSA2 and SSA3 will be here shortly. Let's throw up something modern, Server 2019, patch in the EDR, get the software interfaces for Dispatch/Public Safety online by the end of the week. Dispatch can run both manual and the new system over the weekend. We won't have any issues getting SOC to stretch an investigation out for the next few days in the interest of security. $SSA1, I'll have that conversation with Dispatch. They're going to lose it when I tell them it's not coming back. Reach out to SOC's seniors, get a list of every possible reason we can viably use to stretch out the downtime of FS01, just in case management wants a trail. Follow it up with a call to software vendors to get their support. $me, sweet. I'll get the PW resets underway using scripts. Then I'll start calling vendors. So we get the passwords reset for everyone. Yes, we had hundreds of pissed off users the next day. Oh well, SOC gave us a stupid long list of things to check. Naturally, it took days to confirm the server was safe for use. By which time the new server was up and running. Dispatch was furious with us. IT management found out the next day of what happened, along with the fact that FS01 would be offline for extensive review. A few days later we told management that FS01 was being replaced with 2 dedicated servers for Dispatch/Public Safety. Both would run side by side. 2 ran so that we could take one down for standard maintenance without interrupting their service. The file share side of FS01 for corporate was replaced by a significantly more modern server with faster/expanded storage. Jump box was moved to a dedicated jump box. Sometimes you have to piss off users, or as they're called, customers. On the other hand, proper segregation of corp and public safety. The last of the Tide interfaces fell offline with FS01 kicking the metaphorical can. VPN had MFA bought and enforced very quickly after that. Also a full audit of VPN permissions. Anything that had not been active in the last month was removed. The purse strings loosened significantly immediately following the breach. That's interesting. Normally when something is prevented, some asshat in C-level or council determines they have enough money. Nightmare, we were probably less than an hour away from losing FS01, followed by most of our environment. Multiple compromised accounts. Greatness, it was the kick in the ass people needed to remove it permanently from service. Fun with phone lines. So, yesterday's fun, I was in the office taking care of a few things, new switches for a remote office mostly, and I was asked to look at a phone line. Specifically the phone line used by the alarm system. The alarm company says the line doesn't work, and they can only connect over the LTE backup. This has been an ongoing issue. I go in there with my butt set and check, yep, there's dial tone, just like every other time I've checked it for them. But and this is a big but not as big as mine, it's also on the main fax line. What? Who are me mom and pop incorporated? With 2 lines. We have at least 4 1FLs that are just sitting unterminated on a BIX block in some random riser room. So I go about figuring out how this line gets here. It's in the main electrical room, there's 50,000 volts behind me. I don't make it 18-inch before I find a splice. It comes out of a multi-pair cable, maybe 6 pair, then goes into another conduit. Trace the conduit, it comes out of there, and is split into an old telecom screw terminal with 1,000 other wires, most going nowhere, then out of that to another splice a foot away and into another conduit leading into the bell room. Into the bell room I go, and find the conduit popping out right behind some massive metal box that the cable company managed to find an inconvenient place for. Trace the cable to another screw terminal where it goes down to an ancient jack on the wall, then back to the demarc via at least 2 BIX terminations. So okay, I put my but set on the BIX terminal that I really need the line to work, i.e., the thing that actually receives faxes, then listen as I disconnect the spliced a million times cable from the nearest screw terminal. I still have dial tone, so I didn't break the fax. Hooray! I tried to pull the old cable out of the conduit so I could use it for a replacement cable, but it's very stuck. Oh well, it can just live there. I found a new path where I can run a simple 4-pair cable, terminate that on a properly labeled BIX block, put an unused line on it, then terminate the other end directly at the alarm panel. It works, but the alarm is still complaining. At least we know it's their problem now. By the way, I think the reason for all the splices is that this is something like our third alarm/access control system. The old ones never seem to get entirely removed. There are several empty boxes on the walls with remnants of cables and abandoned in-place hardware. So, every time we got a new system the phone line was just spliced to the new box. I guess next I should pull out all the rest of the dead gear, but who has the time? Update: turns out I did break the fax line. There's now a strong 60 Hz hum that's keeping the fax from syncing. I can't hear it over the dial tone, but if you listen in on an actual fax it's definitely there and very loud. Looks like I'm pulling out more cable tomorrow.